Questions this morning over the future of Gareth Southgate as England manager. It follows that quarter-final defeat to France on Saturday night.
We can go live to Qatar for more on this now and join our senior reporter Tim Thornton. Very good morning to you, Tim. What then can you tell us about Southgate's future?
Yeah, good morning, Simon. Lots of different factors in play here, but Gareth Southgate is considering leaving his position as England manager, but no decision as yet. This is about taking his time, giving himself the time and space to consider what he does next. There is an expectation, though, that if he does leave, that he would manage a top European Champions League club, possibly in the Premier League. But yet, lots to think about, lots to consider for Gareth Southgate. And I think he is still reflecting on events here over the last few days, the disappointment of the defeat against France. There's certainly a case for him staying, a strong case for him staying. It's been another good performance from England. Yes, they've fallen short, but the display against France was good. The way that England have performed overall in this World Cup. The fine margins have gone against England in this tournament, but Gareth Southgate emerges with plenty of credit. And I think, again, this team is developing. It's another step forward for this England team. And I think if Southgate looks at this, he'll think to himself, well, yeah, we've got an opportunity now to go to Germany and to possibly perform and maybe go a step further and win the European Championships. But against that, he's 52 years old. Does he want to manage in the Premier League? Does he want to test himself in club management? And does he want to potentially put himself through what he did in the summer, in June, when England didn't perform so well in the Nations League? He was criticised at times. At Molineux, the fans were singing, "You don't know what you're doing." And I think that took its toll on Southgate. So he said it's been a difficult 18 months for him, but the next few weeks will be telling for him. He's contracted until 2024. We know the FA want to keep him, so it's decision time for Gareth Southgate. He'll have a few weeks to decide what he wants to do next, and we expect a decision from him in the new year.
OK, Tim, thanks very much.
Right, we're joined by guests Danny Mills, Sue Smith and comedian Emily Dean has joined us this morning. Good morning to you, Emily. Great to see you. We'll get to you in a moment. Danny, just on that news there, which has just come into us in the last hour or so, it sounds like, from what you've been saying this morning, it's no surprise to you that Southgate is considering his future.
No, I think it's a real dilemma for him. He would have been thinking about this going into the tournament. Is that one, if you're very successful, you know, do you walk away on a high? If you don't get out of the group, it's not your choice. You know, you're getting sacked, probably. So now he's in that conundrum. Does he go again with this young team that he's brought through, that he's transformed? But the criticism I think he's getting from quite a lot of quarters, especially the public. We've seen the poll this morning. 50-50. A lot of the newspapers saying, again, tactically got it wrong, didn't make the right subs. You know, all these hindsight Henrys that are amazing. You know, they're fantastic, aren't they? Should have, could have, would have, didn't. You know, there's even people been saying that, you know, Harry Kane shouldn't have took the penalty. Really? I mean, some of the stuff amazes me. But that amount of criticism that he has to take personally, that he has to deal with, I think will make him seriously think about, is it the right thing to carry on?
Hindsight Henrys. Right, OK. Emily, if he does go, and of course we don't know that yet, but if he does, what would you miss most about him?
He can't go. I refuse to let him go. And in fact, Danny's...
You're going to chain yourself to his gates?
I might well do
You know
that.
where he lives, so you could help her out on that.
Well, I'm finding out. I'm so glad you had me on this morning, because Danny, he's quite good friends with Sir Gareth. And I'm finding out all this information. He texts you. What emojis does he text
Also,
you?
I mean, an England manager, you get little emojis. He just replies all the time. He's just a thoroughly decent person.
Didn't have him down as an emoji man.
And there aren't
I
too,
did.
But there aren't too many decent people in football, are there? We've met, you know, quite a few. There are quite a few not decent people. And yeah, but he's just a good guy. And I think, you know, and again, of course I'm biased. I've known him for a long, long time. But the way he conducts himself, the way he's brought everybody together.
That's the thing, and he's changed the sport. He really, don't you think he has?
Yes, definitely.
Just in terms of that kind of slightly toxic culture, there were sort of elements of that. And I just think, I mean, don't even get me started on the waistcoat. But I would be so sad if he left. And I'm getting a horrible feeling that looks like it might be likely. You can understand why. The pressure is hideous. And I know also the thing I love most about him is he's so classy in defeat and so dignified. I'm not. I feel so bitter right now. I'm been throwing a lot of petty parties. I'm not watching any of these the semi-finals because I think it's like going to an ex's wedding. I don't want that in my life. I wish them well. Nothing to do with me.
You don't necessarily wish them all well, of course.
I love you. I like it here.
If you can tell, though, that you're a fan, but England fans in general have got behind him. He's got his own song, Southgate, You're the One. They've completely taken on his dress sense as well. People have copied it as well. He's been great for England.
Oh, he's been fantastic. And also, he seems like, and no disrespect to any of the other previous managers, whenever you hear the words "no disrespect," you know you're about to hear something incredibly disrespectful.
You mean Roy Hodgson wasn't as charismatic?
It's the giant watch. I just had issues with it. But I just feel he's probably the first England manager. I'm not saying they should pick it on this criteria, but he's definitely the first England manager I would like to go for a drink with. Would you not agree with that?
Not Sven?
No, Sven would have been quite complicated. Whereas I just think you feel like also, and on a quite serious note, the sort of cohesion in that team now, and the way you see them playing together, very like Arsenal, if I may say so. No, I think Mikel's done a similar thing in that there's no. I always felt watching England, it was very much about explosive moments of genius. You'd get people like Gaz, you'd get people coming on, you think, do something incredible so we can cling on. Whereas now, I feel all those egos have gone out the window. It's just these players speak to each other, they're calm creators, and Gareth's at the heart of that.
Well, I think in the past they've spoke about cliques, haven't they? They've spoke about in the dressing room, at dinner tables, where there's one group here and one group there. I feel like he's brought everybody together, and that makes such a difference, doesn't it, when you've got that real team togetherness and team spirit, and I think that's shone through.
And I think one of the biggest things that annoy me is when people say he won't make decisions or he's not proactive. Every football decision, once the game starts, is reactive. Doesn't matter what it is. You're reacting to what's already gone on. You look at the decisions he has made where he's changed tactics, he's changed formation, he's dropped players, he's played players that were completely unexpected and it's worked. And then you have a real awkward period during the Nations League where you've got players all over the place. It's a difficult time of the year. You're experimenting, and you get booed by your own fans. And even after the Euros, you get criticised because you miss penalties. And that's what. And again, you go back to that toxic nature. Yeah. It happens very, very quickly. Even now in the papers this morning, we've looked at tactics were wrong. Didn't make the right substitutions at the right time. Well, when were you going to make these substitutions? What? Just before we got the penalty, when Mason Mount came on and won the penalty. If you win that, you go, well, that's a stroke of genius. If Klopp does that or Guardiola does that, brilliant tactical decision. Yeah. We won the penalty. Harry Kane missed the penalty. That's why we lost the game, unfortunately. That's what it comes down to.
But do you think as well, so I was going to say, I felt there was criticism. Obviously, I wasn't thrilled when, Saka came off, but even I sort of thought, well, he's looking a bit leggy. He's been hacked around quite a bit.
Me and Sue said that this morning. He'd been booted all. No, but he'd been booted. But that's the whole point. He'd been booted all over the shop, and he was carrying a little something because he'd given everything.
Yeah,
and he had been brilliant. He'd been absolutely superb. But when you've got that amount of quality on the bench, sometimes you have to change things, and I think he did that at the right time.